Hi there, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go through a demonstration today to finish off the series of 4, which is about how we get connected all the way from the vision down to the activity within a self-managed team. And this is really about a demonstration about alignment of cadence, of ceremonies, and of the tooling, which is the boards and the documentation that goes on those boards. Documentation goes in the form of cards. And by doing this, you really do empower this number 4. So the previous videos have been about the directors, the product managers really being clear on what the vision is and working with the project managers to make sure everything's on a single board and breaking that down and refining it into objectives that can be delivered in about a quarter. I then did the next video after the objectives video was how we get those objectives and work with the team at quarterly planning to make sure we have key results that can be delivered. Now I'm using objectives and key results language. It could be epics and features there. It's the same thing, but just a different language that we use. So after we come out of quarterly planning, we should have the RAID, the risks, assumptions, issues, and decisions. And we have a set of key results which have been sized, roughly sized, by a team that's experienced in doing that kind of work. They're literally saying that's a big, that's a small. We use a number system so as we can add it up at least, but really we're just doing rough sizing. And then they're going to take that into the quarter with a level of autonomy that allows them to then work on those key results, being able to raise, again, their own risks and issues at their level, but also be able to plan and track in a very clear and transparent way. And it's that which I'm going to go through now. So if you haven't watched those other videos, they're part of this playlist. There's only 4 videos. It's well worth doing. And the last video was really geared towards the product leaders, for the agile leaders, so the Scrum Master and the product owner. This one's also for those guys. All the videos are for everyone. This one's also mainly for the people in the team, the experts in the team. And if they could get this alignment right, they'll see the benefits of everybody just keeping this little bit of aligned or autonomous alignment. Actually, the alignment gives you a lot more autonomy in the way that you work, a lot less reporting, a lot more straightforward for you. That tracking and visibility. It's all about collaboration, guys. So I'm going to go through a few things. I'm going to focus on the foundation. So the foundations being the board, but also the cadence and ceremony and roles that are involved. At this point, we're really talking about the team experts getting involved, although it might be facilitated by the Scrum Master. So every 12 weeks, you're going to go through some major refinement of the activity you're going to do because you're going to know your key results at that 12 weeks. You don't have to do it all at that 12 weeks, but you do it certainly for the first part. You might do high level at that part because you're doing your estimation of your key results. Let's have a look at how that looks when you do that on a board. So this is just about the alignment. You can do this, the method that you'll use, you can use 110 different methods. But if you want to align with everybody else on the portfolio, we do need this little bit of alignment. So you would have, this is where we left off the last video. I'm going to kill my thing there, give us a bit more bandwidth. We would have a list of key results which are committed to quarter 1. And at the refinement, they might not be committed. You might do it as part of it. You're going to be adding the activities that you're going to complete. So it might be, we have upgraded the server. We have built this thing. Built and tested hopefully would be in there. We build I consider it to be done when it's done, not still needs testing. So at this point, if you want in the refinement of quarterly planning, you would be adding your items underneath here. I'm going to add some activity under there. Completed the first part. Again, this is not a good title. It should be the actual outcome that you're going to deliver. And also the refinement includes putting in a description, taking an owner, and at this point the owner might be the Scrum Master or might be the product owner still at this point. It really depends on the dynamics within your team until it goes into a sprint. It's automatically gone into quarter 1, but we'll talk about planning in a second. So you'd put all of those in there. That's the refinement, and you'd refine that one until it's done, and then you'd refine that one. You wouldn't refine and plan. You'd refine as much as you can in the time box and then move on. And you do that continuously after the 12-week quarterly planning as well. Has to be the experts involved in that. Next thing we'd be doing is the planning. So the refinement is separate from the plan. The refinement is the what have we got to deliver. The planning is can we get this delivered in the next iteration. So if we go to here, really what we're going to be doing there is we're going to open these things up. We're going to see what the size of it is. This card hasn't got the size on, and we're going to commit it to an iteration. So this one would be committed to iteration 1, for instance, which I think is actually done. My dates are out of date there. And then we look at that. Now, what we can be doing there is actually working from a different view. We actually wouldn't be working from this view. I shouldn't have come to that. At this point, once we go into there, we'd probably be looking at a backlog view, which gives us a much better view of that work. So we could come into here and go, okay, which of these are we going to get done? I can't even find them now. Here we go. We've got this work in here. So we'd be working in that. And then once we're in there, we'd be looking at a sprint view. So I'll go to a sprint view. And we start to see, okay, this is our key result. Our key results are down here, and we will be committing these to a sprint. Okay. So once you've got your plan, these would only be showing the things in the sprint. So I've got my iteration on iteration 2. Let me go back to iteration 1, which I told you was closed, but we will see the item that I just put in there. This would form the basis for your next sessions. So you've done your plan. This would be full, and we'll have a look at what's in the next session. The next session after planning would be the daily stand-up. At that point, we really need to focus on autonomy for that team and output. We are now in proper delivery mode. At this point, we will not be looking back at the vision. We won't be looking at the objectives. We won't even be looking at the key results. We'll just be focused on getting that activity done. And so the daily stand-up will be looking at these. Have we completed that? Is it doing? What do you need help in order to do that? So we would be moving these things through this and trying to get them all into done. Now I have got an additional option here for the project managers amongst you. If a risk pops up, we can document that. So within the sprint, we can say, we've just identified this risk on this key result. So is sick. And then whoever it is who's going to manage that, it might be the delivery manager that takes that, or the Scrum Master, can go and try and solve that risk. And maybe even escalate that at the Scrum of Scrums. So there's a Scrum Master. And we know that that's to do with that key result, and we can put that into all sorts of views so that can be used. Finally, the last thing that you can align on is how, when we're all done, we can review the work that's been done. So at this point, when all this is done at the end of the sprint, and hopefully we've closed out that risk, that will all get done. We go, okay, that's all done. That's good, because that now means that the key result is done. And that communicates back to that product owner, that's now done. So at the end of the sprint, we do a review, which you don't spend too much time looking at the board, and we can say, we completed this first part, we fixed that risk, which we got raised during that, and we've completed the new key result. And that means that going back up the chain, if I go back to our original boards, we can have a look at our product manager. And this is where the alignment really starts to pay off. Also, I'm already looking at my project. That is now in the done result. So the product owner looks at their work at the end of the project and says that. Now what they can do is they can go, oh, well, I wonder if that means I can close the users can authenticate. Let's go and have a look at the users can authenticate by looking at the portfolios objectives. And users can authenticate. No, we've got some more work there. And so they can now start to think about that. That's how it works. That alignment allows all of that connectivity between all of those different tiers, but you do need that little bit of alignment. Now, I've used a load of language in there. Hopefully risks and issues and all of those are normal. But if I talked about activity, they might be tasks in your system. Talked about key results, they might be features in your system. Objectives might be epics. The colors were a dead giveaway. I also used the Microsoft solution. You can as well use Jira. They're exactly the same. They work the same way, just a slightly different interface. All allow that hierarchy and allow that aligned autonomy throughout. I hope that demonstration's shown how easy it is. Loads more that we could go into, but that really is the purpose of these sessions. It's the foundations of the cadence and ceremonies and how you can use a simple board for all of them, but really it only works if everyone's aligned.